Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Faith, Family, and Finances with Mommy Angel. I'm so glad you're here today. This podcast is a space where I share my journey of learning about faith, family life, and financial wisdom. I'm not an expert, but I believe that when we grow together and learn together, we can build a better future for ourselves and for our children. In today's episode, we're going to talk about a powerful Bible verse from the Gospel of Luke, specifically Luke 16:10, which says, "Whoever can be trusted with very little can also be trusted with much." This verse has such a powerful message. It reminds us that how we can handle small things in life matters. When we are faithful with what we have, even when it feels small, it prepares us for greater opportunities in the future. This verse actually reminded me of a moment in my life when I first started investing in the stock market, and honestly, it started with something very simple. Just $100. And let me tell you how that happened. Not long ago, I decided that I wanted to try investing in the stock market. I had heard so many people talk about investing, building wealth, and letting their money grow. But at the same time, I always thought investing was something only people with a lot of money could do. Maybe some of you have felt that way too. Sometimes we think we need thousands of dollars before we can even start investing. We think we need to be experts before we take the first step. But one day, I decided that instead of waiting for the perfect moment, I would just start with what I had. And what I had at that time was the $100. That was it. Just $100. To some people, that might seem too small to matter. Some might say, what difference can $100 really make in the stock market? But for me, that $100 was the beginning of something much bigger. I remember the first time I invested that money. I decided to buy a few shares of Ford Motor Company, a company that many of us already know because of their cars and trucks. It felt very scary at first because I didn't know much about the market yet, but I told myself, this is part of learning. And then something happened the next day that made me smile. When I checked my investment account, my $100 had grown to $103. Now, $3 might not sound like a lot, but let me tell you something. When I saw that number, I felt so excited. It was such a small amount, but it changed the way I look at money. Because suddenly I realized something important. My money wasn't just sitting in my bank account anymore. It was working. That moment made me curious. It made me want to learn more about how the stock market works. So I started reading articles. I started watching videos. I started learning about how companies grow and how investors participate in that growth. And during that time, this Bible verse kept coming back to my mind. Whoever can be trusted with very little can also be trusted with much. I started thinking about this verse in a new way. Maybe being faithful with little also means being willing to start with little. Sometimes we delay our dreams because we think we need more first. We tell ourselves things like, I'll start investing when I have more savings. I'll start learning about the market when I have more time. Or I'll start a business when I have more capital. But the truth is, waiting for that perfect moment or the perfect amount can actually stop us from ever starting. And when we don't start, we don't learn. For me, that $100 became my springboard. It wasn't about becoming rich overnight. It wasn't about creating a new habit. It was about changing my mindset. Now, every time I get paid, I try to add a little bit more to my investments. Sometimes it's not a big amount. Sometimes it's just a small contribution. But I've learned that consistency matters more than the amount. Little by little, I learn. Little by little, my confidence grows. Little by little, my money grows too. And this is something I especially want to say to other moms who are working just like me. Many of us live very busy lives. We work hard. We take care of our children. We manage our homes. And sometimes it feels like there's no time left to think about things like investing or financial education. But even setting aside a small amount of time to learn can make a big difference. Maybe it's reading short articles about investing. Maybe it's watching a video about the stock market while you're folding laundry. Maybe it's listening to a podcast about starting a small business during your commute. Or maybe it's learning about starting an online store, selling something you love, or building a side income using the skills you already have. You don't have to start big. You can start with the resources you already have. The important thing is growing what you have. That's the heart of the message in Luke chapter 16, verse 10. Being faithful with little. Because when we learn how to manage and grow the small things in our lives, we prepare ourselves for bigger blessings in the future. My $100 may have seemed small in the beginning, but it gave me something very valuable. It gave me confidence. Confidence to learn, confidence to keep investing, confidence to believe that financial growth is possible, even if I start small. And sometimes starting is the hardest part too. So if you've been thinking about investing, learning about finances, or starting something new, maybe this episode is your encouragement today. You don't need a lot of money to begin. You just need to take the first step. Start small, stay consistent, keep learning, and trust that those small beginnings can grow into something meaningful over time. As we end today's episode, I want to leave you with this reminder. Small beginnings matter. The message in Luke chapter 16 verse 10 teaches us that what we do is important. And it's also important that we are faithful with the little we have. We prepare ourselves for greater opportunities in the future. Whether it's $100 in the stock market, starting a small business, learning a new skill, or simply becoming more intentional about managing our money, every small step counts. To all the hardworking moms listening today, I want to encourage you to give yourself permission to start small. Set aside a little time to learn about investing, business, or any opportunity that inspires you. What matters most is not how big you start. What matters is that you start. Thank you so much for spending time with me today. If this episode encouraged you, so please share or give me a follow. Share it with a friend or to another mom, to someone who might need a reminder that small steps can lead to big changes. And also, if you have some comments of how can I improve with my topic, what topic you want me to discuss about faith, family, and investment or finances, please leave a message. It will help me grow in my podcast journey. And until next time, let's continue to grow in faith and strengthen our families and build better financial futures, one small step at a time. And I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you again. Have an awesome Saturday evening. And again, this is Mommy Angel. Please don't forget to subscribe or follow my podcast here on Spotify or Apple or Amazon or wherever you see my podcast. Please give me a support. I would really appreciate that. All right. Thank you. Bye for now.